guy, and welcome back to another video you accidentally clicked on. Today, we're going to talk about what everyone's talking about, the new No Man's Sky update, Frontiers. Hey, I'm going to tell you everything that you've already heard from everyone else. Oh wait, no I'm not. Check it out. So most people are going to be complaining right now about this or that, saying they didn't do what they said they were going to do, or repeating some other YouTuber who's been feeding them some bullshit for the last 6 months about how they know what it's going to be, and then they were inevitably wrong. So, if you're here for that, you ain't going to get it. But, if you want to hear a decent opinion about a decent update, then here it is. First things first, as usual, the community doesn't understand what the people who are making the game are trying to do or trying to say half the time. And, well, okay, if you're watching this video, there's a good chance you're not who I'm talking about. Otherwise, most people are either have their heads up their asses or just have their own ideas and don't get it. Or they're listening to somebody else on YouTube ramble for 6 months about some bullshit idea they have and somehow made it seem like they were correct. Well, here's the deal. If you've been around since the beginning of the game, you know how this goes. The scope of the game is too big to launch at once, and was meant to always be evolving and growing, and it has. It has for 5 years. This game, right now, is a completely different game than it was when it started. But right now, it is more of what it was supposed to be than it was when it started. And it continues to be that. So, Sean Murray, Hello Games, the guy who made the fucking game himself, said when this was coming out, he said, to us, this is just another update in the game. But it's something I feel like should have been in the game from the beginning, and it's something that was missing. He never said it was a game changer. He never said it was gonna, add anything more than something small that should have been there from the beginning. So, what did it add? Settlements. Living NPC settlements. Small procedurally generated settlements and missions. That's what it added. The biggest deal of this whole update was that with building that whole system, they also updated the building system for us. So if you're a builder, they overhauled the entire system. Now, if you're used to the old system, you're probably a little bit upset because you're used to it. But they actually made it way better. A lot of people are going to complain because they took out what they call glitch building. Well, guess what? They didn't take it out. They accommodated it. They said, oh, this is the way people want to build. We'll just give them the ability to build the way they want to build. You just got to figure it out. It's different now. It's not the same because it's not glitch building anymore. They've incorporated it into the build mode. And people will figure that out. The good builders are going to figure it out and they're going to love it because it's actually a way better system from what I've used so far. If you played Fallout 76, it's almost the exact same thing they did to the building system there. There was glitch building in that. People loved it because they were building things they weren't supposed to be able to do by breaking the system. Enough people did it that the developers were like, oh, okay, well, we can just fix that by removing collision and letting you make floating objects and taking out the glitch part of it. This broke a lot of the glitch builds because they were glitch. But you could rebuild them with the new ways. You just got to figure it out. It's more accommodating, in my opinion, and over time that'll be realized. Now, the other thing, this is an update, it's brand new, it's going to have hiccups, it's going to cause issues with current saves, it's going to have, nobody has it all figured out yet, so there's little things that are going to make it not so fun. Myself, I've noticed the first day playing, the first couple hours, I had 5 blue screens, all related to me going to my settlement, either from space in my ship or even on foot on the planet. I noticed every time it blue screened, it was while I was on my way to the settlement going towards it. They just released a hot fix today, and one of the notes in it mentioned that they fixed a crash that happened when you were going towards your settlement and there was a freighter in the system nearby. That is the case for me. My system also has my freighter in it. That was probably my issue. So they probably fixed that already. So there's going to be little hiccups. There's going to be this and that. But all in all, it's exactly what they said it would be, and it's a great addition. It just adds more life and a little bit something extra to an already existing great game. Um, the specifics of it are basically you know wherever you load up in your game, if you're at the point at which you can do it, then when you pulse out into space, you will get a message. That message will send you to what I have discovered in my experience to be a random nearby system, but no matter how many times I reloaded it and retried it, it always sent me to the same system from the system I was in. It seems like if you go to different systems, it will do the same thing and pick a system nearby. So if you were wanting a settlement that's on the planet that you're on mainly, or if you have a specific planet in mind, you will not get that right off the bat. You will have to go to the space station and buy the chart that you can get now, and it will allow you to discover settlements on planets. You just have to basically use the system you use for discovering anything with charts until you find the settlement you want on the planet you want. In my experience, the default one they give you, if you follow it, is a B-class settlement, and the storyline seems to be a little bit more streamlined. If you search settlements, my experience so far, I found about 6 or 7 settlements before I picked the one I went with. They were all C-class. I don't know if there is a difference or if I just got unlucky. I've seen other people mention the same thing. So it seems like they give you a B-class to start with, but if you don't stick with that, you're going to be starting with a C-class so far. The other thing is, I got about 4 hours into the settlement that they gave me, which was in a system I did not like, and I prefer the Korvax. I like the robot people. They gave me a Gek system. The Gek is my least favorite race in the game, so I was already like, oh, this sucks. So eventually, I decided to go ahead and just bite the bullet and change settlements, because the only way to change it is to discover a new one and become the overseer there, and then you renounce the previous one. The settlement stays there. I've gone back. That settlement is still there. It's got its original name, but it's still there. So you could just go back and, like, you know, you can pick settlements. It just renounces the previous settlement. You can only have one at a time. However, the settlement it gave me to begin with was, like, pretty active up to a certain point. And then when I switched, it seemed to, I don't know, to change it up a little bit, which, like, I'll explain. But first I also wanted to add, though, that, like, there's not inherently base building options at the settlements. There's no save points, there's no teleporter, you can't build the typical base elements. So some people have said they've built a base like 300 units away from the Overlook office, or the, you know, the Master office, and you could still, like, decorate there and whatnot. But for the most part, it seems like you can't inherently build there, and I'm personally not sure how that will affect the random generation of buildings around the settlement as you know, update it, because it seems like it should have it implies there's a pretty in-depth upgrading system to the settlement, that it can become pretty big, and building your own buildings in the area may mess with that, because it's very obvious that the area that the settlements are in, it's got a pretty clear wide berth. So if you want to build, I suggest either building nearby, or like others have done, and build close enough that you can stretch it over to incorporate. Or what I did was just throw down a save point or a save beacon, and you can just manually save whenever you need to. If you want to, I think there is a point at which they will let you build like its own incorporated landing pads. So if you hold off, you could, you know, I think your settlement will have all the elements it needs. But I haven't got that far, and I haven't read enough from anybody else yet, and it's so new that we don't know. The only people who are going to know are the people who are going to exploit the times and everything, and we have to wait and see. I don't, you know, I'm back and forth. It depends on what kind of cheating you're doing. Exploiting time saves on something like this just to make your settlement go faster and see what it does for you doesn't strike me as such a big deal if you don't have a lot of time and you just want to like really see what it is all about. So I'll kind of wait for those people because you never know what kind of bad consequences you can get when you mess with the time and offline saving and all that. It can always fuck stuff up. So I'll wait until other people have done it enough to like see how bad it is before I really get into like trying to speed run a settlement. But I just wanted to add that like the base building aspect of it is not inherently there like you would think. So it doesn't act as its own base per se. But you can teleport to it. Like, you don't need to put a teleporter down. The main console in the middle of the city acts as a teleporter as far as like when you go from another teleporter. So if you're at the anomaly or you're at your other bases, you can go to your bases or your recent, and it'll always have your city on there, and you can just go back there. Or if you get a message or whatever, you can always just use that method to teleport back quickly. So that means you don't really need a teleporter there, if you ask me, because you can always go from another teleporter to the city, which is the whole point of building a teleporter in the city. So you don't really need to build it. But if you wanted to like build a crazy ass building or add to your city, that is something that could mess with the random generation of buildings, and I'm not messing with that yet. But I just wanted to throw that in there before I explained how like my game seems like it might be fucked up. So like basically when I got to the point where you choose to build your first building, and then I waited until it was built, and that was about the same time that I decided to switch. I waited till after it was built. So when I switched to a new colony, it made me build the Overseer building, and then that was like it until I don't know, 15-20 minutes, and then it gave me the option to build a new building. That was another one of those. It was a big building, so it was a 4-hour build, and then another 4 hours, and then another 4 hours, and so like nothing happened in between. And then like it's like since I've played, you know, the next day, it's been quiet the whole time. It just always says running smoothly, and there's been no activity. When I logged in the first time, it was getting attacked by sentinels, and I fought them off, and then nothing. So there's still a lot of like questions about whether it's like the freighter missions and it's like daily, or there's definitely a timer involved with some parts of it, and then like the happiness and productivity and all that, and the class level of the system or of the settlement itself might impact that. I don't know. Like I said, I'm using my main game save. I'm not one of those like multi-save people, so I have just my normal regular game save. I've heard that some people have had like more activity in theirs, but they were playing in creative mode. I've seen that you can definitely use the like offline time scrubbing to speed up buildings and stuff. That could mess things up. I don't know. There's a lot of questions. But as it is right now, you get a default B class in a random system near wherever you are when you start the missions or start up your game after the update. You can choose your own settlement, but do it at your own peril or risk, because it will possibly bug up the story system. I'm not sure if that's just like, again, a combination of factors, or if I bugged it because I switched settlements. I don't know. It's obviously intended so that you can switch your settlement to a different one, but I don't know if not just following through the initial storyline messed me up. I don't know. But that's that part of the whole thing. Now, the actual update itself, it's fucking great. Like, it adds a whole new life. They added a whole bunch of new base building parts because the cities and buildings themselves have a whole bunch of new styles and interior design things. So, like, all of those pieces are available now. They overhauled the building process, and they added a new element to the game to discover and, you know, explore. And it seems like it's going to get a lot more in depth. There is, you know, like I said, I've had some issues with like it being seeming like it's pretty dead, but that might be because I bugged something. That might be a combination of different factors. We have to see what other people are saying, given time, and after a few hot fixes, what they do. But right now, just as it is, it's just a basic, you know, addition to the game. They added a few. You know, if you're really interested, you'll be reading the patch notes. But if you're watching this, you're really looking for somebody's opinion, and probably a different one than what you've seen, which is probably a lot of people complaining about how it sucks. It doesn't suck. It's a No Man's Sky update, and that's always a good thing. But it always comes with a little bit of bugs and a little bit of, you know, hiccups at the beginning. But after that, it smooths out and it's fine. So if you haven't jumped in already, jump in and enjoy it. From what I hear, it's on sale right now, so if you don't even have it, like, go get it on sale. That's the best way to get every game. If you can't get it for free, get it on sale. It's worth every bit, though, of $60. I've bought the game twice over the 5 years, so once I got the day one physical copy, and then recently I bought the digital copy right before it went on sale, like I always do on PlayStation. Fuck you, PlayStation. And, so get it, play it, hop in. If you were curious about the settlements, you can switch it. It just seems to kind of start over the story mode because it makes you build the overseer office, and then from there, you know, the first time I did it, it was like every 15-20 minutes there was a decision to make, a person to meet, something to do, and then I switched settlements and it just went dead. So until we know more about that, expect it to do the same for you. Otherwise, I mean, that's all I gotta say. It's an update for No Man's Sky. It's typical. It's great. Check out these communities, and I'll see you guys out there in space. And thanks for watching. Love you guys. Bye.